If there's any franchise I wasn't sure I'd ever be talking about, I think this would definitely be it. It's been about over 10 years since I last played a Call of Duty game, that game being Call of Duty Black Ops, released for the Xbox 360 and PS3 in 2010. I have very fond memories of playing Black Ops on my Xbox 360 that I share with my brother, whether we'd be playing zombies together or taking turns playing the multiplayer. Approximately 10 years later, we were introduced to its direct sequel, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Being the huge Resident Evil fan that I am, Cold War's initial trailer that was shown didn't really appeal to me. Call of Duty is my brother's favorite franchise, and I immediately knew that he planned on pre-ordering it day one. This franchise had taken loads of different directions in the past couple of years. Was that the sole reason I stopped playing those games for so long? Not at all, but we'll get into that later. What exactly made me want to try out this game? Let's find out. Do I really want to talk about how I got into this stupid game? Well, I mean, I made this video, so I might as well. Despite loving single-player games, I'm a very competitive person when it comes to playing multiplayer games. Whether or not I decide to play with my friends, Call of Duty itself is no exception. I'm sure others are the exact same way about some of the games they play too. Since then, I'd been complimented on how well I played the games that I did, and having god-tier reaction timing, being able to take down an enemy in the blink of an eye. Remember Resident Evil 3 Remake on Inferno? That shit took me 3 hours to perfect in one single night, and I'm still proud of how quickly I managed to do that. Call of Duty's multiplayer is either casual fun, or allows the player to be a complete show-off whenever they're able to perform well in a match. There's even a best play system at the end of every match that determines the best possible player of that match. And I sometimes question why that system sometimes picks me during matches that I perform poorly in. There's one thing about this game that immediately stands out when you start playing it, and that's the fact that it is horrendously unoptimized. I wish I could say I was joking, but unfortunately I'm not. I have to run this game at very low settings just to make sure my PC is still operable whenever I close it. I followed an SSD optimization guide about a month ago that required me to disable a specific Windows setting, and disabling this setting made the game run out of memory before I could even start playing it. Jesus Christ, Treyarch. And to think I was about to spend $60 on your game. Thankfully the game was on sale in December, so I got it for $40 instead. Wait, didn't it literally come out a month prior? Well, in any case, Cold War puts you in the year of 1981. US President Ronald Reagan tasks CIA operative and newcomer Russell Adler to hunt down a Soviet agent known as Perseus to prevent an attack on the free world. Adler assembles an elite team including Bell with the help of Alex Mason, Frank Woods, and Jason Hudson. During later missions, you're prompted with a dossier of filling out personal information. This government sheet allows you to identify the character you play as either male, female, or non-binary, along with giving this character a first and last name and a couple of perks to help you out in the campaign. This character you play is referred to as Belle. I guess that name finally rings a bell. Guys, it wasn't that funny, please stop. Until now, I haven't played a game that allows you to properly identify a specific character in an FPS campaign the way you want, and Cold War did just that, and I think that's really cool. But for now, I'll give the spotlight to someone who's more familiar in that area.
Hey there, gamers! The name's Nawt. I'm the non-binary slug creature that lives in Link's walls. While I wouldn't consider myself an expert, I have done my fair share of research, and I can lean on my own experiences when it comes to LGBTQIA+ representation, namely in games. So I guess the big question is Cold War's non-binary inclusion strictly a good thing? Yeah, I guess. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm happy it's there, but it's not perfect and has some weird implications. I remember doing a double take when I saw it in the little dossier. In a game set in the 80s, a US government document is asking me if I'm NB? Thanks for asking, but the second I dropped that info, I'd be out of a job in the CIA. I'd probably be killed if I was in the KGB. Don't tell Putin I said that. This to me feels like a weird clash between historical context and the necessity of inclusion. I think it's great that they let me be my version of Belle, but you're seriously telling me that everyone in the US government would be totally cool with my shiny new pronouns? They even use they, them pronouns for the non-binary characters, which is a neat touch, but this is the 80s, and at some points the late 60s. I don't know. Something tells me that if creepy CGI Ronald Reagan saw my NB ass in the mission dossier, he'd have thrown it out the window. It's just weird. Again, it's great that it's there, and I hope that more games do stuff like this. At the very least, I wish they'd acknowledge this weird disconnect in the campaign, but they never do. Then again, if Woods stopped me and was like, "Hey dude, friend, I respect your pronouns, kiddo," it'd drop a thermonuclear warhead on the game's tone. Anyways, that's it. Link, tell them the funny campaign.
Why the fuck are you in my wall? I enjoyed what I played of Cold War's campaign. I don't think it was anything too special, but the story was good and I had a lot of fun doing all of the missions and objectives. I really liked Belle as my character too. And despite the game being horribly unoptimized, it's no doubt incredibly pretty when it wants to be. You know what else is incredibly pretty?
You knew the nuke was from green light. Didn't tell us. What else are you hiding? Maybe I can knock the truth out of you.
You might want to rethink that, Woods.
Everybody stand down.
No doubt Castro allowed it.
$20 to anyone who can bring him down before me.
Who? Castro or Perseus?
Whoever.
We are not
Look alive. It's Adler's protege.
Bell.
Are you fucking serious right now?
Don't get him started.
God, I want them to fuck so bad. If there's anything Treyarch absolutely spoiled me with, it's these two. Alex Mason and Frank Woods are back and look hotter than ever. A lot of the fans weren't too happy with both characters not having their original voice actors. I'm a bit biased considering I hadn't played a Call of Duty game in a long time, but I really enjoyed their performance in this game. Plus, we get this interaction.
Heads up. Scouts on the ridgeline. Do it all quiet-like.
Yeah, you're the expert in quiet.
I'm a goddamn onion, Mason. You should know that.
I somehow missed this line from Woods when playing this mission. I guess I shouldn't have sniped that guy so quickly. The campaign switches between Alex Mason and Belle, depending on the current mission and its objective. Cold War introduces a safe house in its campaign. From here, the player can interact with the board of what's happening in the story, alongside interacting with the characters and what they have to say about Belle or any of the missions overall. There's a later part of the campaign that I really enjoyed, and that was the dream sequences. During a certain mission, Adler gives Belle an intracerebral injection through the player's eye socket. These sequences will begin with Adler repeating, "We've got a job to do," for each one. Adler's goal in giving Belle the psychoactive drug is to break Belle's brainwashing and tell him the exact location of Perseus. I've always found dream segments in video games incredibly interesting, and this one was no different. The trippiness from it completely drew me in, and I was curious to see what happened and how it ended. The campaign is a mix of stealth and action for each mission, so it's really nothing new, but there are decisions that you'll have to make that will determine what ending you get, similar to Black Ops 2's campaign. So is Cold War's campaign good? Yeah, I definitely think so. Having not played any of these games for a very long time, I enjoyed what I played and I don't regret a second of it. And I just really like Mason and Woods, both as characters and their dynamic. Now let's ask another question. Do you have to be good at Call of Duty to properly enjoy it? Being the first-person shooter that the franchise is, there's both a yes and no answer here. If you're not particularly fond of shooters or just don't play them that often, then yes, playing this game will be difficult, especially when playing the multiplayer. This isn't Dark Souls though, so if the player just wants to experience the game, there's an easy difficulty available for the story. But if the player wants a challenge, then the challenge is there. Multiplayer on its own is why Call of Duty as a franchise always sells incredibly well. Even with Cold War's release being back in November, which wasn't too long ago, on the day of its release, it sold over 5.7 million units. And its best-selling game continues to be the original Black Ops with over 30.99 million units sold. Modern Warfare 3 being right behind it at 30.97 million. There's something about both multiplayer and zombies that I really like, and I think it's what Treyarch does best when it comes to the Call of Duty games. Cold War's music is absurdly good, and I absolutely love both themes for multiplayer and zombies. There's a bit of a throwback in the zombies theme from the original Black Ops, and I almost cried when I heard it for the first time. I guess the nostalgia hit hard. Could you imagine setting up a speaker on the Halloween night just to have the zombies theme loop over and over? One day. Multiplayer is what you'd expect if you ever plan on playing it, and you'll be absurdly lucky if you get into a lobby where everyone isn't sweating their ass off. If you have friends that own Cold War, let them know so that you guys can play together. It's always fun being able to play with your friends in a party, because this game is very frustrating most of the time. I would know because I bought it. In the original Black Ops version of Zombies, the player would have to kill zombies and repair barricades in order to earn points to buy new weapons. In Cold War, that remains the same, but now the game allows you to fully customize a class for zombies, along with a specific field upgrade of the player's choice. Zombies as a game mode is still pretty fun as it was in the original. I've had a lot of interesting experiences when playing with my friends too. So what do I think about Cold War? It's good, but it could be a lot better than it currently is. For example, hey Treyarch, why is Cold War 90 gigabytes? That's bigger than Warzone before it got its file size update that reduced it from 93 gigabytes to 81. Aside from its ridiculous file size, I've had a lot of good fun playing this game with my friends. And it feels amazing being able to show the enemy team in a multiplayer match that you're not to be fucked with. I just really wish it was optimized. It holds so much potential and I hate having to play it at the lowest possible settings, just to make sure my performance is stable. Call of Duty has been an annual franchise for a very long time, and Resident Evil is slowly starting to become that as well, with its new entry coming out in May. So what is Call of Duty to its players? Do fans only buy the new games to grind the multiplayer? Or are there fans that actually enjoy the campaigns that most of the games have to offer? And I'm sure there are, no doubt. No franchise is perfect, and Call of Duty is far from ever being a perfect piece of media. Take a quick glance at Infinite Warfare as an example. A Call of Duty game that introduced wall running, a feature that is also in Respawn's Titanfall 2. Was this something that the franchise needed? Given its setting that it usually aims to be, not at all. But for the game Infinite Warfare was? I mean, sure. Why did Call of Duty feel the need to nosedive so deep into the sci-fi genre? Aren't most, if not all the games set in a time period where technology is incredibly scarce and wasn't the main focus of the games in general? I'm not really sure. It's been a very long time since I've touched this franchise. Call of Duty has been everywhere ever since its first release back in 2003, and it's no doubt that I loved what the original Black Ops had to offer back in 2010. I actually want to go back and play it again after making this video. Producing these kinds of videos always makes me have nostalgia trips because of the games I used to play. And it honestly feels like my brother and I are the only ones in our entire family that takes gaming seriously. If it weren't for my uncle being the gamer that he was when I was still in grade school, I don't think I'd be where I am right now. And I definitely have him to thank for that. Video games have had the biggest toll in my life for as long as I can remember, and I absolutely have no regrets about that at all, because I still enjoy the ones that I play today and often end up replaying them too, and that's all that really matters. Did you guys know I grew up with dial-up internet? Damn Link, you didn't have to bring up such an ancient term in 2021. Due to where I lived, basically in the middle of nowhere, internet access was pretty limited since I lived in what was considered the country. I think I could have had high-speed internet though. That would have been really nice. I still live in the country though. I want to give a huge thank you and shout out to my friend Nawt for accepting to collaborate with me on this video. Nawt aims to be a video game journalist in the future, and they've written a lot of really good reviews of games on their Steam profile. If you want to go check them out, or even leave them a kind comment, I've provided their profile link in the description. And with that out of the way, I need some time to waste before both Nier Replicant and Resident Evil Village come out, so I'll still be playing this game for a couple more weeks, even if it means I get auto shotgun to death. I hope you enjoyed this video. If Cold War is a game you want to play, definitely wait for it to go on sale before buying it. If you've played Call of Duty before, then you will definitely enjoy what Cold War has to offer. And as always, thank you for watching.